Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be looking at what is effectively the most powerful bow in Diablo 1. Now it's not the highest damage, but it is the most effective bow in terms of its damage output. And this one starts out as a long battle bow. Its damage is 1 to 10, it's indestructible, and it does require 30 strength and 60 dexterity to use. It is known as the Eaglehorn. Eaglehorn is also a bow that followed into Diablo 2. I call it the Do Not Miss bow because it has such high accuracy rating. It's not quite as powerful as Windforce, but it definitely is a lot more accurate than Windforce. And it seems to be the same case in this game as well. While it's not as damaging as Windforce, it is more accurate and tends to hit way more often. Which makes it a very interesting choice and an effective choice nonetheless. In this particular case, Eaglehorn has 20 dexterity, which is a pretty huge amount of dexterity for a bow. It also has a 50% chance to hit, which is massive, and this means that you go from like a 95% chance to hit to a 155% chance to hit, which is pretty great. On a rogue, if you already have a large amount of dexterity, it's going to increase that to hit percent chance a lot more. So you're going to end up with some crazy to hit numbers, so you should be hitting just about every single shot that you fire. It also comes with 100% increased damage, which isn't quite as much as Windforce's 200, but it still makes the bow at 2 to 20 damage, and you're probably going to hit just about every single shot you fire with Eaglehorn. It does have its own unique graphic, which is shared with the Bow of the Dead for some reason, but no unique graphic when it's dropped on the ground. It just generally looks like a regular bow when you're using it too, which is kind of silly. They didn't really change the graphics of the bows when you actually had them equipped. It is also indestructible, which is really good for a bow. In most cases with a bow, they tend to burn durability really fast, because mainly it's not about whether you hit the target, it's about whether or not like you fire a shot. Just firing a shot in the distance with no monster nearby can still cause durability to burn off of your bow, and it's actually pretty easy to break bows. Many times during our playthrough for Halloween, our bow characters were constantly breaking their bows because they didn't realize they were, running out of arrows on a regular basis. And the Eaglehorn pretty much fixes that by being indestructible. It does have a relatively high item level or item quality of 26, so it's probably not going to drop until much later in the game. It's something that you can look forward to as you're getting into Nightmare difficulty or toward the end of normal difficulty. Just a really nice bow all around. Definitely one of the better bows in the game. And if you happen to find an Eaglehorn or a Windforce, both of them can be potentially like best in slot for your character. So, get excited. You found an Eaglehorn. Congratulations. You have one of the best bows in the game. On some of the websites, they say Eaglehorn is one of the most effective and unique bows for use against high-level monsters, with a huge chance to hit to bonus and the immensely convenient indestructible property. While Eaglehorn has lower damage potential than Windforce, it also has a much higher accuracy, and with the combination of the dexterity, which may make it more effective for those with a lower degree of it. In other words, in general, you have a much higher chance to actually hit the target than Windforce, which means that you might fire 4 shots and actually land all 4 shots, whereas the Windforce might fire 4 shots and land 2 of those shots or 3 of them. And the average over a long period of time is going to lean in the Eaglehorn's favor, just simply because versus high-level monsters, it's going to do better. Windforce, on the other hand, probably does much better versus lower-level monsters that have a lower AC class, where it has a higher chance to hit. And I think that's pretty much it. Between the two bows, they're definitely both really good. And if I was a bow character, I'd probably want both, Windforce for farming low-level areas and Eaglehorn for when I'm doing the higher-level zones. Let's see how much it sells for, shall we? Because probably expensive, right? I would assume it's expensive.
Whoa, what can I do for you?
10,625, not bad. That's a 10k bow. I think after this, we're going to be moving on to the staves. So we are finished with the bows at this point, and we're going to be moving on to the staves. Now, normally the staves don't really tend to be used all that much, because generally with casters, you want, actual, 2 stats. So you usually use sword and shield. And the staves tend to end up being left to the wayside, kind of similar to Diablo 2, where staves tend to be left to the wayside. It's really just a matter of cost analysis, where you're well, I could have a shield and a sword, and the shield can both have stats, like are the stats on the shield and sword better than the stave? And then you run them in your head, and it ends up being usually the stave loses, right? But let's go ahead and go over them. I think the first staff on the list is the Staff of Shadows. So we're going to look into the Staff of Shadows first, which is... well. I don't really know what to make of that at all, honestly. But we'll talk about it when we get there. As always, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe button if you enjoy the content. And keep watching.